Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. And I watched this on HBO, kind of on-demand kind of thing, and it is 148 minutes, so about 2 hours and 28 minutes. And I was kind of confused on this one, because I know that this was a prequel backstory on Furiosa, expanding out the Mad Max universe. Sure, that's cool. But the biggest kind of thing is that there are certain ones in the Mad Max series that you like. You like the first Mad Max, Road Warrior, Thunderdome for the insanity and stupidity that can come out of it. Fury Road for what it does. I think this one fell into the same kind of trap problem as Fury Road, where you think that the main character that you've got for the top billing is the main character, and then you see other kind of characters getting more kind of character development and more kind of focus than what's kind of going on throughout this. And that kind of befalls Furiosa in this, at least for me. I mean, most of the front half is dealing with her as a child. And, I mean, that's all right to a certain extent, but when you're putting that, you've got top billing for this one actress that's pretty much playing Furiosa, it takes a good chunk to get to her kind of part, and most of it falls into kind of a Michael Bay kind of trap. Whereas with Michael Bay, the explosions are more the characters. Here, we have an inordinate amount of focus on set pieces and other characters as well, mainly Dementis, to pretty much showcase why Furiosa is the way that she is. And I mean, that works to a certain extent, but we have to do and devote so much time to Dementis throughout most of this story that we don't really get that much Furiosa, other than we start at the beginning and she's from like this green place, a place of abundance, according to this one fuckaro, and she's trying to get back home. That's the main kind of crux of her journey. But we don't really get much of her internal struggles or anything. She keeps very much quiet to herself. We don't really get any internal monologues on those kind of things. We just see her pretty much trying to survive and potentially trying to get back home, which could work. I mean, A Quiet Place did things with minimal kind of dialogue as well. But this fills that stuff with, like, Immortan Joe, Dementis, the kind of power politics going on mainly within the wasteland at this point. So we pretty much are just going through various different kind of like stages of this kind of crazy ass thing going on. The green place of many mothers. That's where she's from. So these raiders pretty much see it. We see Furiosa and Valkyrie. We of course get this stinger of everything kind of going gnarly, and her pretty much trying to sabotage their vehicles. She, of course, gets captured, but Furiosa was pretty much blowing her whistle, and her mother and others are trying to go after them. So we pretty much get the set piece of them shooting at them, the mother pretty much going off with the sniper rifle to go crack some shit, and we see the kind of back and forth as she's attempting to take them out before they get to Dementis' camp. However, they are able to make it there. She disguises herself as someone else. Dementis, the one kind of, we do see that Furiosa is very resourceful. She was able to bite through a motherfucker's fuel line on their dirt bike. She's able to attempt to utilize a knife on a motherfucker, and also wraps something around the dude's neck that pretty much like kills and almost decapitates him as he's attempting to tell Dementis about all this kind of shit to kind of get to the place. But the mother is able to steal into the camp as Furiosa is being pretty much prepared to just kind of live life there, as Dementis is first like, oh yeah, just rest, you'll be able to tell me all this shit later. It's like, alright, fuck you. And I don't mind Chris Hemsworth being Dementis, but the thing is, how do I put this? Since he's mainly known as Thor, they decided to do this kind of half-ass kind of thing, where instead of trying to go the Immortan Joe kind of route and really like put some shit on him to kind of like mask his face and everything like that, or just be like, fuck it, it's Chris Hemsworth, just let him go crazy and everything. We get this kind of half measure where he's got this really weird nose, and he's trying to kind of do whatever kind of different kind of things to kind of look kind of crazy, but not really be kind of crazy. I mean, he's Dementus. We pretty much get his spiel at the end of the movie to kind of like explain his shit. Even though he just is a really bad leader and is like fucking shit up. We see him with like all these people and building himself up throughout the movie before he's pretty much alone because he's a stupid, ineffective leader who really doesn't know how to lead people. So the mother is able to kind of like get Furiosa kind of away, but then gets she's pretty much got this Thermopylae pass where she's like taking out motherfuckers, and Furiosa kind of comes back and they're pretty much crucifying her, and it's just like holy shit. And Dementus forces her to watch it, and like Dementus is like haunted by the loss of his own family and kind of adopts her as his own, pretty much locking her up with this history man dude that is able to pretty much just like tell shit. So they're pretty much going around taking over other kind of little bands, absorbing like about 5 or so people at one point. We see his whole kind of thing. It's like, oh, you didn't have to do this, but now you kind of fucked our shit up. And like pretty much Darlton quarters the leader and offers like a spot to like the people to like fight out kind of Joker style, and then we get the new 5 people. We see a war boy from Immortan Joe's kind of place, and he's able to kind of bring him there. Dementus is like, yeah, I'm gonna take your shit, bitch. And then Immortan Joe's like, yeah, pick one of these motherfuckers, and one of the dudes is picked, and he just fucking cracks on for his ass. He's like, yeah, that's why you're not gonna fucking be able to do this, asshole. So we then learned that there's pretty much Gastown and the Bullet Farm, and Dementus wants the Gastown place and decides to pretty much Trojan style his way into it. But this, of course, then starts to lead to a kind of rift. They take over one of the kind of war rigs, which becomes an important kind of motif as the whole thing. That also links to Fury Road. And the thing is, they slaughter some of the people and kill some of this dude's, because there's like subgroups within Dementus's thing, and this dude's like, fuck you after this, as he takes over Gastown, and pretty much parlays with Immortan Joe to retain Gastown, giving up Furiosa. She, of course, is pretty much going to be utilized as one of Immortan Joe's wives. Also takes on the kind of flesh dude, the doctor from Dementus's group, and we see that his wives are still producing fucked up offspring, and it's like, yeah, it's probably because of you. Also getting introduced to Scrotus and Rictus, his sons, and Furiosa is like, this shit is for the birds, fuck this. We see Rictus attempt to pretty much rape her, but she has pretty much taken her hair out and used it as a wig and has escaped, and pretty much works as a dog man because of how small she is, and pretty much passing herself off as a boy. So then that kind of goes through as she ages up to pretty much the actress that we've seen top billing. Let me see. Anya Taylor-Joy. Yeah. And we also see that she's got a star chart on her arm to pretty much get her back to her home place. So she's pretty much doing all this kind of stuff, works into let's see here. Helps to build a war rig, and pretty much goes on, as we see other kind of set pieces of pretty much doing this whole kind of fight thing, working with this, what is it, Praetorian Jack? Yeah. and getting attacked by the Octobus dude before kind of defeating them. Uh, Furiosa was attempting to escape on the war rig, actually utilizing a bike that was chained up underneath. However, Jack, they are the only two left, and she was pretty much going to. Let me see here. She tried to pretty much carjack the thing, but Jack stops her and then recognizes the potential within her, and they pretty much form a team up for it. And this dude's kind of like a Mad Max kind of dude. So they keep doing their runs, but then they start finding out that Dementis is a fucking dipshit, and Gastown is pretty much devolving into complete and utter chaos. And when they try to do a kind of last kind of run to Bullet Town, which they were pretty much going to escape on one of the kind of guarding kind of cars. We see that Dementis has somehow taken over that, and this leads them to escaping on that kind of vehicle, but them getting captured again, and Praetorian Jack being kind of wrapped around, and Dementis chaining up and severely injuring Furiosa's left arm. She, of course, cuts it off. That's how we see that she has lost her arm. We also see that Mad Max is, like, watching her, and then she kind of, like, collapses, but then still kind of gets to the Citadel. Tells Immortan Joe what's kind of going on, rebuilds her own arm, builds a vehicle to pretty much go after Dementis, and we've seen that pretty much everybody has abandoned him, and she just hunts his ass and pretty much captures him towards the end, him being like, yeah, only way to feel alive is to, like, just do this horrible, insane shit. Let's see. And it's just like, oh yeah, you'll become me if you kill me and shit like that. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And then we get into this history man saying all these different kind of ways that people think that she could have taken his ass out, but that she uses this peach pit that she's been carrying around with herself, and the punishment similar to Prometheus, grows a peach tree pretty much on Dementis' dick, and his body feeds the peach tree as we then see her giving the peaches to the otherwise, leading into then sporadic kind of stuff from Fury Road. Now, on paper, this sounds like a good and decent movie. However, going through it was just like, what are you attempting to accomplish? I don't feel that I learned that much about Furiosa, other than her main driving goal was to get home and to get away from these dumbass fucking people. We learn more about Dementis and his descent into not being a very good leader, and not really being able to help people in any kind of way before trying to justify his actions at the end. It's mainly other people around him, like Immortan Joe and him attempting to do the wives and secure his legacy and shit. Rictus and Scrotus attempting to do their own kind of stupid kind of things. It's really kind of strange. I don't mind having to focus on other kind of characters as well, but when the main kind of focus and title is Furiosa, and I don't really feel like I knew any much more about the character than what I had seen in Fury Road, that's kind of a problem for me. Now, it's beautifully shot. It probably would have been better if it was physical, with 4K and all that kind of stuff. Because I've noticed that Xfinity and certain kind of compression stuff has gotten really kind of weird on movies and TV shows, depending upon what kind of channels you watch. And sometimes there's weird kind of coloring and stuff kind of going on. I don't pit that down to the movie. My main kind of issue is the central kind of plot, not really the lore and the world building around it. The good kind of thing is that it was attempting to do kind of world and lore building. But the main kind of focus was all the different kind of set pieces and action pieces. And the thing is, they work to a certain degree, but a lot of them go on longer than I think they need to. Like, Furiosa and Praetorian Jack's kind of first run on the war rig seems to go on far too long for me, where I'm just like, okay, we kind of get it. why are we shifting so much focus on this kind of character, that kind of character, when they know it's just like they're the red shirts and everything. It's like, all right, which is still can be done decently enough where you're trying to figure out who's going to get taken out and how they're going to get taken out. Sure, but if that comes at the expense of padding out time on a movie and losing kind of character introspection and really getting into character development, that's where I usually have an issue with it. So I don't think this is outright of a bad movie, but there are real problems with it that keep me from enjoying it. And if you enjoyed it, that's really cool. I'm glad you got some more Mad Max, got to dive into Furiosa and everything. I was just like, I thought there'd be more digging into who Furiosa is, why she is the way she is, and what her kind of objectives are. I mean, most of that you get is sprinkled enough that you already kind of had that. So it almost calls into question of why we needed this prequel anyway. And that's the usual kind of problem with any kind of prequel. You really have to be able to justify and showcase what kind of is going on and how it kind of... It has to be a little bit more than just a value add. Just like, oh, it's kind of more. Alright. It needs to also be able to justify itself, like the Star Wars prequels. I mean, yeah, there's problems with those as well, but you dive into what was going on during the Republic, how it became the Empire. You dive into the character of Anakin Skywalker, how he became Vader. I mean, execution-wise, it's uneven, but it does those things. So, yeah, here it was just like, alright, I kinda got an idea of this kind of stuff. Okay, she was taken from a place and she kind of wanted to go home, and then she kind of just chose to go a vengeance route instead of going home, and then helped other kind of people in Fury Road and was able to pretty much make her home in the Citadel. Okay, cool. I kind of got that from Fury Road. So, I really wouldn't recommend this. Not because it's bad, but I mean, there's like other movies that do it better. And if you need something, yeah, it's there for the background, it's there for action and everything. If you're going for really good kind of characters and everything, like diving into characters, I really wouldn't recommend it. Look for other kind of stuff. So, those are my opinions on the movie. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.